Let us move on to writing chain code as a smart contract. We have discussed how equipment state and attributes change during the life cycle of transaction as the equipment moves among different parties in our pharma ledger network. A smart contract is a program that implements the business logic and manages the world state of business object during the life cycle. During deployment, it will be packaged into chain code and it is installed on each endorsing peer node that runs in a secure Docker container. The Hyperledger Fabric smart contract can be programmed in Go, JavaScript, Java, and Python. So in this section, we'll look into smart contract implementation for our PLN using JavaScript. Now let us look into the code part of it. So this is the structure of the project that you will receive. So we will see all the other no other folders and we will discuss everything in detail. But for this section, we will see what are the dependencies that we need for writing the smart contract and how the smart contract file looks like. So in Node.js, if you are familiar with Node.js programming, you know that package.json is the main file where you depict the dependencies that you want for that particular project, and you will write the scripts that has to be executed when you write a particular keyword, and there are other attributes like name, version, description of the project, and things like that. For blockchain project, dependency section has two main dependencies, which is Fabric Contract API and Fabric Shim. So these are the two main dependencies that we need to write a smart contract. So the Fabric Contract API provides the contract interface, and it has two critical classes that every smart contract needs to use. One is context and another one is contract. So we are going to see how this is used in smart contract, which is pharma ledger contract. So pharma ledger contract contains the smart contract which lies inside the lib folder of contract folder. So let us open this. So this is how a general smart contract file looks like. First line is contract. So as we have told, Fabric Contract API provides the contract interface, and it has two critical classes that every smart contract need. One is the contract and the other one is context. So the contract has methods like before transaction, unknown transaction, create context, which are all optional, but it can be overridden in subclass. For example, you are writing a class pharma contract, which is your contract, and it extends from the contract class. So in JavaScript, explicit contract class name can be specified by using its superclass to initialize itself. So this is the explicit contract class that you are specifying, and you are using the contract class, which is an already existing class, which is a superclass, to initialize itself. And context provides the transactional context for every transactional invocation. What do you mean by that? So when you invoke a transaction, for example, a person from an organization manufacturer invokes the transaction to another organization. So the transactional details that has to be present, like who is the person who has initiated the transaction, what is the MSP or the certificates that he is using, at what time he has raised it. All these transactional details are present in the context class. So context class provides the transactional context for every transactional invocation. It can be overridden for additional application behavior to support smart contract execution as well. So to be specific, context is something which you write it for every method. If you can see, you have make equipment, you have wholesaler distribute, and you have pharmacy received. For all of these methods, you have one parameter in common, which is context. So using context, you can get the So using this context, you can get all the details that is necessary for that transaction, so which gives the transaction context. So this is how smart contract looks like using smart contract looks like, and this makes use of this mean libraries. So these libraries are very important for you to remember and very important for you to import. Without this, you cannot write a smart contract. Now, as you have seen the outline of this smart contract, let's move on and let's build our knowledge on top of this.